Greetings and welcome back to SmartWatch Tics. Wow, we've been covering all sorts of high-end Android stuff and Android Wear Tic watches, and about time we take a look at another activity tracker band kind of thing. Here's a QR code here for the JU app, I believe it is, JYOU app. That's the tethering app for this thing. What is it? It's a SENBONO product. That's right, SENBONO has brought us a T1. Sports fitness activity tracker, all in a cute little colorful waterproof band. And inside this thing, it does a bunch of good stuff, which is partly why we brought it in here. You've got your standard step count and sleep tracking and call reminder and remote control things and stuff like that. But in addition to heart rate and blood pressure, it does blood oxygen. A lot of folks have been asking for that. Where's the blood oxygen? Well, it's in this little band. You've got color LCD, fashion band, all that good stuff. Language is Arab. I hope it's in English. They have other languages shown up in here. And features, that's probably the best place to look. It's IP67. Don't swim with it, but you can wash your hands and get it wet. You got Bluetooth push for all of your messaging and stuff. You've got a multi-sport mode. We'll see all of those things in a minute. And, of course, tethered to the JU app, which we have already reviewed. And there'll be a link in the show notes that you can go over and see what the app actually does with a different device. But it, of course, would do the same thing with this one. All right, let's open it up. Let's get inside. Simple little push-open band. Really easy Valentine's gift kind of a thing. You can hide it in your pocket and pull it out, you know, at just the right moment. Yeah, Valentine's is coming. It's in a nice plastic see-through container, kind of. Light comes through it. The band. And then underneath is a, looks like the charging unit. It's going to be one of these clip-on chargers. Okay. USB on one end and looks like a 3-pin clip on the other. Then we've got a manual and wipes. Wow. A wet and a dry wipe. I have not seen that package before. All right. Smart bracelet, it says. Chinese. English. Get started in the middle of it. About right there. Says user's manual. Quick start. Information on the charging. Okay. You do the bracket with the app down. There's Google and iOS and Android. You want to scan that, or just use the link in the show notes down below to load up the tethering app on your Android. More functions and features. Again, we do this manual thing for those of you that are new. I page through it, hold it for a second or two, so you can freeze frame if you want to read more about it and get more detailed other than what I go over with you on the video. And if you get the watch and you've lost your manual, it's a way that you can come back and check a few things. Sometimes there's something subtle in these that you need to know. And if you don't know, well, you're kind of out of luck. So since they don't make these available for download or put them in PDF often, the only place you can get them is in these reviews. So I try to do it on each one of them. I think we're about there. Okay, you can remote control cameras, reject calls. Basically, a typical sports smart sports band with health functions built into it as well. The only game becomes what buttons do you push when in what order to get things to work. Sometimes they can be a bit complicated. Okay. That's it. All right, time to get into it. Let's pop it out of here. TPU band. Very flexible. Are they removable? Doesn't look like it, but it could be pins in there that lets you remove it. You've got the heart rate monitor, the charging pin part, and again, you're going to clip it in a way that supports those pins dropping right into there. It'll clip it across the screen Sometimes these are a little tricky with the play that's in them to get them lined up just right. So you want to make sure you position it and then set it down so it'll charge and not miss the pins. Okay, got that. We've got a cover to take off. And have not charged it yet, but I'm going to push the button anyway. One button on the front, press and hold, should light it up if it has some charge in it. There we go. Very quick. Vibration. I got 3 vibrations and a watch face. And as we touch, you can see it's going to cycle through everything. Had 17 steps on it, distance traveled, calories burned, sports, which I presume we can go into, your last night's sleep time. There's your heart rate, blood pressure, and sure enough, blood oxygen. We'll come back and do those. Text messaging. It's a little bright, so it's kind of washed out on the screen. Overall functions or settings, and then back to the watch face. A long press here changes to a different watch face. That's a nice one, where the day is highlighted in a color, and you've got your step count and such. Press again. Still another one. Haha! This is good. I've looked for these, and you don't find them very often, where you have the watch time and you have your real-time heart rate on it. That'll probably be the one that I use on here, because I like to keep an eye on the heart rate, just for fun. There's a back to the original, I believe. Okay, so we'll get back to this one. And on this one, I noticed up here the battery icon is like almost out, so I'll charge it up and continue. Here we go. I got it charged up and on, but notice that the band is backwards. That was kind of odd, a little strange to put it in that direction, but this is where the button is, so that's why it works that way. Let's go deeper. There's our faces. We've looked at those. Our step count is here, calories and distance. All those 3 go together. Then when we get to sports, we got to press and hold. And this is where you can actually time your runs and such. Wow, it's a bright screen. Can you see? Wow, that's quite the biking, huh? Uphill. You're going to get time versus calories and heart rate. Climbing, same thing. Time versus calories and heart rate. And those are the sports. Once again, press and hold. We've got a running, a biking, and a climbing. So it's kind of limited on the number of sports. And if you notice, there's no GPS, and they're pretty much based on calories. Your running is based on step count with heart rate and time, but the other ones are just basically average calculations of heart rate over time. Here's your sleep information. Again, more of that would probably be in the app itself, the JU app. And now we're going to go through and test the biometrics. So that whole section was fitness, limited, but if you do any of those, you can at least get a minimum bit of information. Here's our heart rate coming in beats per minute. Then you can come over here to blood pressure, and again, it's using the optical technique, the PPG style, where it's shooting the green beam into your wrist and getting the reflection back and calculating all of these biometrics from that reflected laser light, the green laser. Taking a little while because it needs to really assess more information than just the flickering of the light, which is what gives you your pulse rate. There's my blood pressure, they say, 113/75. It vibrated, by the way, and touching it starts it all over again. So you got to keep watching it. You can't walk away from it. Then the other one is blood oxygen. And most folks are in the high 90s, 95 to 99 generally, unless you're going anaerobic. But if this is accurate, this is a good reading for you if you're a heavy exerciser and you tend to push your body into the zones that are challenging. And if your blood oxygen level starts to drop down, then you may want to back off. It also, I think, factors into your recovery time. There you go, 99%. Now, how long you should wait in between. Messaging, if you have any text messages, the number of them will appear here, and you press and hold to get to them. And then your other functions that come in here, which is a basic stopwatch, your find your phone when you're tethered, and your power off button. And then the version that you'd look for, I guess, when you're tethering. And back to your main screen. All right, that's how everything works on the band. This is what it looks like on. And now we're going to take a quick look. I said we'd point you over there, which you can do in the show notes. I'll have a link there too. But I'm going to go ahead and put the segment where I did a quick review of the JU app from a different band now. Different band, but it's the same app. So here's some information on that app. When it comes into the summary screen, supposedly you're already set up, you'll have all of your data there to take a look at. But since we aren't, we have to go over here to setting. Setting is where you get the basically setting information. Here's where you can bind your device. It's the S2. I've already done that for you. Like how I'm moving through these faster? You have download data. This is the same as synchronize. You can authorize WeChat if you use that and connect the two together that way. You can set your overall target, your sedentary reminder frequency if you want to have it vibrate to remind you, and your device alarms. And here's where you can set 3 different alarms on the phone that will push to the watch so that the watch can remind you even if you're nowhere near the phone. Another interesting thing I saw there is the buttons are all backwards. Take a photo is where you put it in this mode. You see the watch is lighting up. And now I'll move this a little bit. And if I touch that button, of course, I've got to have it in the right direction. Touch it down here, I guess. There, it took a picture and saved that. So that's common. You see that everywhere. Then we have auto heartbeat detection. This is where you can activate it by turning the switch in the wrong direction but making it go on. With this, you should be able to get regular heart rate numbers taken from the watch, pushed to the phone so you can see it in the graph, which we'll show you in just a minute. Then you've got message settings. This is where once you sync this whole thing up, you can turn on specific apps that you would like to have information pushed to your phone, including all of these, but not all of the stuff that's in your phone. So you're limited to these as far as I could tell. Notification access is there, and accessibility is here. And these are all settings that you have to set up on your phone to make it work. Then we've got unit settings, Imperial or English. Turn English units on if we want. Device time. Here's where we can sync the time, which it automatically does when you sync it up. And of course you can turn it on to 12-hour time. Well, it's not even noon yet, so we wouldn't be able to tell. But it's set to do that. Power savings. You can have raise your wrist to see the time, which we've got on right now, and the device vibrate. And the interrupt mode is the time frame from which it won't do that. Not only does it save power, but if you wear it to bed, it won't be lighting up as you roll over in bed, right? Pretty nice extra feature to have on these devices. And that's there. Now, software version, firmware version, firmware upgrade, which I checked, and it's the latest version. And device recovery, your user info is where you put in your stuff. I went in as a generic user, not logged in, so it's given me all of these things by default. And you've got to, I imagine, set your age. What do you want to say? 46. Height in inches. 55. Oh, it's in centimeters, sorry. 200. I have no idea centimeters, but it took it. And weight in pounds, it says 128. There, got some random numbers for you, which should factor into computing your distance and calories burned. And then you could change the password, which we haven't set. Here's a send it up to the cloud type of a thing, and everything is done in settings. And then we could exit it. Now, that's settings, so we come back over here. Here would be your step data, distance, calories consumed, your blood pressure showing there, heart rate over here. It looks like it should scroll because it's a little off the screen, but it doesn't, and I don't see a blood oxygen entry. Your sleep time, siesta time, which I believe they mean light sleep, deep sleep, and pause, I guess, when you're awake. Then you go into the individual areas. Here's where you would see your graph for the 3 different, and probably a bar graph of the 3 different types of sleep and the numbers related to that, and the evaluation that's going to tell you if you've had good sleep or lack of sleep or just what. Your sport area is where we've got the workout that we didn't really get into here on the chart. When we are over to where it says training and press and hold, we get into this mode where you've got a stopwatch, heart rate, and steps. And as long as you have this on, it's acquiring that data. And when you finish that and sync it up, I'm pretty sure here in the sports area is where you're going to see that information. Then you've got this detailed weekly and monthly statistical data. Here you go for the whole month, and it's going to give you information on your step statistics and your sleep statistics. It doesn't scroll, nothing on heart rate or blood pressure shown up there. And then we're back to settings. So that's all there is about the app. Now, again, that app will apply to this particular band, the T1 from SENBONO, and you'll be able to transfer the data just like you saw there. Okay, that's it. This thing is available directly from SENBONO's store on AliExpress. You see what I see? We didn't see that, did we? It's available from AliExpress. Check the show notes. I'm so embarrassed. Down below for a link to pick yourself up the SENBONO T1 Sports Fitness Activity Bracelet. I should cut this out, shouldn't I? What the heck. You guys, we're having fun. All right, you, totally lost my train of thought. We'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your subscription. I wish I could get the ants to subscribe. I'd be billions by now.